During the press conference interview, Bud Crawford was asked about the Mean Machine knockdown because people are saying he was tested, had a bad out, etc., etc. So he responded. He said, "My thing is this: even if it would have counted as a knockdown, what does it matter?" Crawford said, "It wasn't like it was his fight. Going 12 rounds, I stopped him. So even if it was a knockdown, whoop-de-doo. Now what? You scored a knockdown and got knocked out. So now, Terence Crawford knocked him down, I think like 3 or 4 times in the fight. Twice in the 7th, once in the 9th, something like that, or he got stopped in the 9th. Either way, he knocked him down several times. And it wound up turning into what you would call basically a pretty decisive victory. Now, Shawn Porter spoke on this also, and he said, "Oh, it was a knockdown." Porter said following the aforementioned press conference, "Don't even ask me. Everybody knows that Mean Machine knocked down Terence Crawford." Now, it's funny that this was brought up about Bud, in my opinion, because I find it just a little funny or a little peculiar that nobody brought that same heat to Shawn Porter, because Shawn Porter fought the WBA super champion Ugas a couple of years back. I believe it was for the WBC title, and Shawn Porter got the razor hair slimmest of victories against Ugas. I mean, like, just the slightest paper thin victory over Ugas. Now, ironically enough, in that particular fight, Shawn Porter himself faced a little adversity. First of all, a lot of people thought Shawn Porter lost that fight, period. Forget a knockdown. A lot of people thought he lost that fight. But what could have made it a decisive win for Ugas was a knockdown that was called a slip. Now, to me, that is more of a big deal than what we saw with the Mean Machine, because at the end of the day, well, like Crawford said, whether he knocked him down or not, he went on to basically bust his tail. The fight was not close. It was entertaining, true indeed, and the first half of the fight was competitive. But as the fight went on, the two levels in skill sets became more and more apparent. You can't say that against Porter and Ugas. Now, you might argue, well, maybe Ugas is a higher caliber of a fighter. Well, maybe not. We'll have to wait and see. Ugas is just getting hold of a title. Now, you could ask, well, hey, how would Ugas have fared against the Mean Machine? Hey, you never know. Maybe one day down the line, those two will fight. But I will say this, don't sleep on the Mean Machine. He was giving Virgil Ortiz issues as well. But his fate wound up pretty much the same as what it was against Crawford. He wound up I wouldn't say going to sleep. He wound up getting stopped. But I just found it interesting that nobody brought up the same issue that they're claiming Crawford had, Shawn Porter really did have with the Dennis Ugas. But that's pretty much all I got. This is Head Bustin' Boxings on Fight Doctor. Hit that like button, hit that share button, hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell. Hit me up in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Was it a knockdown, number one? Because a lot of people did think it was a knockdown, and it might have been. And number two, was that as big of a deal as Shawn Porter get put on the ground by Ugas? Well, I mean, you could, like I said earlier, you could say Ugas is a high caliber fighter, but I'm not really sure about that. But we'll have to see. Like I said, Ugas still got a lot to prove to me. And if Shawn Porter don't be careful, he gonna wind up being the gatekeeper of 147 pounds. And that's pretty much all I got. This Head Bustin' Boxings on Fight Doctor. I am out.